Okay, so as you guys know, it's been quite a while now since I last showed you my orchids that I did rescue from Craigslist about a couple of months ago. And I figured since some of them are in full bloom, and because I will be storing these here in a little bit in regards to the overwintering process, I felt it would be a great time to go ahead and do an update on these orchids. And if you guys want to check out the video where I first showcased this beloved precious orchid rescue haul, you can go ahead and click on that link right there. It'll take you right to that video. Now, there were many orchids that did come into bloom, but unfortunately I was not capable of capturing the footage for you. But the good news here, folks, is that there are still so many buds that are still producing, and we can expect to see more beautiful blooms. If we take a look right here, here's a sheath, and you're also seeing that shadow area in there as well. So definitely some buds forming. And here's yet another sheath right here. And right here we have a very nice sized bud that is bursting at the seam, and I would say in a couple of days this one should be in bloom. And on this teeny weeny fella right here, if we take a look, this is also in sheath, so I'm hoping to find out exactly what this little guy is. And this one right here, judging by the looks of the leaves, I believe this is a Brassavola cross, and as you can see by the buds, we are expecting to have some blooms here in a little bit as well. And I'm not quite sure exactly what this is. Only thing that I'm sure of is that this is also in sheath, so fingers crossed that this will come into bloom. And I do have a couple of orchids that do have dried sheaths, as that one and also this one right here. And if you guys know anything about dried sheaths, you guys know that dried sheaths, even though they look as though that they are kaput, finished, and done with, they can actually produce buds at a later time. And I actually had something like this happen where I had a dried sheath that produced their buds and bloomed a year after the fact. That's right, a year after drying out and looking as though it was dead and gone, it did produce buds and it did bloom for me. So I never pull off dry sheaths. And right here hidden away, there is yet another sheath. And I do have to say that one of the highlights and one of my favorite blooms thus far from this entire orchid haul collection has been this one right here, with so many blooms upon a huge cluster. This is the Beringiana, also known as the Beringiana, however you guys want to pronounce that. And as you can see, I've gotten so many blooms from this, and I actually have one that has already fizzled out, no longer is in bloom, but did bloom so many incredibly gorgeous blooms. If you want to see that video of when this one was in bloom, click on the link right here. And I do have yet another one that is the highlight of this collection as well, and it is this orchid right here. Now, as I did tell you in my prior videos about these orchids right here that I did rescue in my orchid rescue haul from Craigslist, these orchids were very battered, very abused, very neglected, very dehydrated, and were exposed to very excruciating conditions, as you can see with the war wounds and scars on the leaves. So the leaves are not very attractive at all. You can definitely see that these poor fellows had really undergone so much, unfortunately. But what is so shocking and amazing to me is that although they had gone through so much, they are still giving so much love in return. And it just simply amazes me. And this, my friend, is the very precious and very abundant love that they are giving back today. How simply amazing is that? So I do have to tell you, this orchid right here just really amazed and impressed me so much. Unbelievable in the amount of blooms that this orchid can give. And to look at each spike, I have to tell you, is really quite a shocker to me to find that each spike has about 6 to 8 blooms on each one. How incredible, phenomenal, and fantastic is that? And what is also amazing about this orchid is the fact that it does love to bloom off of each pseudobulb. And this particular orchid right here has 7 spikes thus far. Believe it or not, guys. Believe it or not. What do you mean you don't believe it? Okay, let's count them. So here we have 1 spike. Here we have 2 spikes. Right here we have 3. Right here we have 4. And if we turn it over here, you will see the 5th one right here. And if we look down here, you will see the 6th one. And then if we look right above, you will see the 7th spike. So indeed, 7 spikes, and with so many buds and also blooms, when it's all said and done, we should have about 40 plus blooms on one orchid plant. So indeed, again, just so amazing. So what kind of orchid is so easy to care for that you could practically neglect and leave it at its own demise and still having it bloom and grow for you like crazy? Because this is pure madness, pure insanity right here, and is absolutely unbelievable. So what manner of orchid is this? This beautiful and practically indestructible orchid right here is the BC Mai Kai. Now, of course, this has been reclassified, but for the sake of what we would normally know it as, it is the BC Mai Kai, and what I believe is the Mayumi variety. I do have to tell you, this is one of my most treasured finds right here, because as you can see, this orchid is not only beautifully gorgeous, but bloom potential is out of this world. So indeed, such an orchid that is well worth having, and such an easy orchid to care for. So indeed, if you are looking for an orchid that is so easy to care for with bloom potential that is absolutely ridiculous, almost ludicrous and unheard of, well, this would be an orchid for you. This would be a must-have in your collection. And as I have stated, this is one of my most treasured finds right here. Because for the love that I have given this orchid has given me 10 times greater love in return, as you can see in the abundance of blooming love that she continues to give. So indeed, I am so happy to have you and so blessed to have found you. And there you have it, folks. That is a complete orchid rescue haul update wrap, and I thank you guys so much for tuning in to yet another episode of My Orchid Adventures. And I do hope you guys liked this video. If you did, please be sure to like, share, and also subscribe. Be sure to turn that notification bell button on so you'll be notified when I do post a video. Also, join me on Facebook at My Orchid Adventures, and as you guys already know, I do truly love and appreciate you guys all. I will see you guys later, and I'll also grow with you guys later as well. Bye bye for now. Mwah.